I'm not sure we talked about on Monday, but one of our fine motor skills in our activity resources, we're going to talk about resources tomorrow, but one of them is the ability to roll some dice and hear it click. So that improves the palmar arch of the hand, which helps the tripod grasp. So you want a nice cupping and arch in the hand, and so rolling dice to hear it click is really good exercise and activity. Playing a game, have them roll the dice. Speaking of games, you can play board games that can do writing. So one of the games we have at home is Apples to Apples, and so we can pull an Apples to Apples card, and we can write down the adjective, or we can write down the noun, or we can make them in sentences. We can pull silly sentences. So having the student pull the cards and lay them out and make some sentences and then copy those words for writing is a perfect way to play games. Bananagrams, Simon Says, I Spy, Scrabble, Scrabble letters, those can even go in your bag. So all those kind of games that we can actually turn into a writing activity but still make it fun. Okay, another activity would be card games. So being able to stack and shuffle and make card houses and things are kind of fun, fine motor, but then have the student pull out the letter from the card from the pile, and if they get a face card, maybe they have to write about that face card, or they could pull out a number. So if they pull out a number 6, then they have to write a particular word that many times. So you can combine the cards with a book, with a toy, with activities, and then that can allow them to make writing more fun. Okay, this is a game I played when I was a little girl, and I would go to a birthday party, and there would be a tray, like a cookie sheet, and there was a kitchen towel over top. And so all the girls would sit around, and we were waiting, and then the parent would take the towel off, and we had 1 minute to study everything on that tray and try to remember everything that was on that tray. And then she would cover it back up, and then we had to remember what was on that tray and write it down. And so I usually could get pretty good. I had pretty good memory, so I usually would get maybe 6 to 8. It depends. There are 10 items. I'd always miss like 1 or 2, and so it would be fun because after you wrote it down, they'd see who would get the most, and then she would pull the towel off, and you would be like, oh yeah, I remember that. So that's always a fun game to play with the kids. All right, another fun game is, I call it the grocery game. So there's adding machine paper tape. So it's called adding machine tape paper. Adding machine paper? Something like that. And it's on a roll, and it's really skinny. And so it's like what you find in the old registers. If you get a receipt, it's that roll of paper. So what's really fun is to have a really long roll of that, and then you can draw LegiLines on it. And even if the LegiLines are crooked or curved, then that requires the student, as we talked about yesterday, pencil precision, to be more accurate and careful with how they're writing their letters on the lines. But if they make them curved and fun, then that just makes writing more fun. Take a card and write it along the LegiLines, and you can build a little town. You can just write the longest sentence you ever want to write. You can write a whole story on one line. You can color it as you go. You can rip it off into pieces. You can make a list. So what's fun about it is it's short, and you can do little short lists on there as well. Just make it up. And the fact that a child is not writing on a piece of paper or 8.5 by 11 worksheet makes it more fun for them. Construction paper. And then we're going to talk about something else a little bit too, just different types of paper to write on. So a long, skinny adding machine paper makes it fun for writing. Okay, another idea is taking a piece of paper and folding it accordion style, and then half and then thirds, and then you're going to unfold it, and you're going to have 6 even sections. And so we can draw pictures and make a comic strip, and Add speech bubbles, and that's a really good way to have that student work on dialogue, like what one person says, what another person says. And then handwriting, recommend using a LegiLiner so that they can practice their neat handwriting and their appropriate sizing. So that's always fun too. Finally, we're going to talk about disappearing letters. So you can write a letter on a chalkboard and then use either a wet paintbrush or a sponge to disappear that letter. You can do it on a dry erase board, and you can wipe that letter away with a sock or a little cotton ball or something like that. So make the letters, write a word, just make it disappear. So that's kind of fun. So those are, I think, 10 different games that you can play with your student and help them enjoy handwriting, also working on fine motor. One I didn't mention was the tennis ball buddy. So that's going to be part of my resources tomorrow. I'll show you what the tennis ball buddy looks like. But with the tennis ball, you squeeze it, it helps strengthen the hand, and you can have those Scrabble letters or any type of bottle caps or pennies with letters on them or something inside the mouth. And then we're going to either put them in the mouth, pull them out of the mouth, and try to spell words. So that's kind of a fun little activity too.